Jay, Odin's Exotics, buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Greetings, everybody. So, okay, as much as I love to put out videos, I'm going to have to slow down on the videos, as I don't want to sit here and talk through a lot of them. I know you want to see the reptiles because that's what the channel's about, is about reptiles. So with me getting this job, I work Monday through Friday, so probably about 6-7 a.m. till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I won't be able to put out as much videos as I used to, so it won't be every week. It might be every other week, it might be once a month, and I just wanted to put that out there. So this video is gonna be a little bit of a ramble. I wanted to tell the story of how I went from being a 5-year-old kid at a Petco to having my own facility with hundreds of geckos and snakes and everything in it. So, when I turn 40 on March 8th, I will have officially had reptiles for 35 years. In some form or another, whether I was living in a group home or whether I was homeless and kept them at somebody's house, I will have officially had some sort of reptile for 35 years. And with all that experience comes flaws. Nobody's perfect at all. So when I started at 5 years old, I found a snake underneath some kind of metal barrel. The tail was wiggling, and I turned it over and saw it was a snake and picked it up. Immediately sparked my interest, so I let it go and immediately had my mom take me to the pet store. And my mom didn't understand why I wanted to go to a pet store, but I figured out it was a snake, and pet stores, should have snakes. So with that, we ended up going to the nearest Petco and ended up getting a little green tree frog. Over time, I took care of the green tree frog, and I asked my mom I wanted another green tree frog. Working up my allowance to get it, and she took me and got me another green tree frog. Well, one day, after working up probably about 4 or 5 months down the road, I wanted to go get a little smooth green snake from the pet store, because I kept going in there constantly getting crickets, so I always saw what was there and whatnot. So I picked up the green tree snake and put it in with the frogs. So at this moment, I had 2 green tree frogs and a ribbon snake. And then over the course of an hour, I had one smooth green snake and 1 tree frog. Didn't realize I couldn't cohab them. I was 5 at this point. And over the course, that ended up how I ended up getting 2 10-gallon tanks with a green snake and a green tree frog. So after that little incident, I ended up getting another tree frog and kept 2 in the cage. A few years go by, I've kept corn snakes, rat snakes, king snakes, bearded dragons, and I got a little bit into breeding bearded dragons for a while. Nothing like this Zero here, but this is back before they had all the whiplets and the Zeros and all this. Back when they had like the hypos and the tangerines, that was when that was all coming out. So I got into breeding them for a few years, and I distinctly remember having like 6 or 7 pairs. And the incident with them is I didn't know that the males would eventually eat the eggs. So here I am trying to figure out a little incubator out of a cooler. Just a regular cooler, an underwater heater, prop the container up a little bit out of the water with some bricks, and incubated the eggs that way. And I would just stack them on top, and that's how I incubated bearded dragon eggs for about a good 4 or 5 years. I was breeding them pretty regularly too. And that's about middle school, high school-ish time, I went to a pet store in Elmwood Park, New Jersey called Route 4 Aquarium, and I volunteered there for many, many years. Met a person named Chrissy. She taught me a lot of what I know. And got me heavily more into bearded dragons before I had eventually sold out of bearded dragons and started getting into wanting to breed corn snakes. Okay, so we're coming into my corn snake and rat snake phase. I came out of high school, got a job at Newman's Fish and Food. In Newman's, my sole purpose was to clean the rodent room. But with the rodent room, we sold reptiles to different companies that wanted it, like Petco, Petland Discount, and all that at the time. So I started picking up corn snakes, going to White Plains and Hamburg, and got heavy into corn snakes, rat snakes, and all that. I had a lot of albinos, snows, albino black rats, a lot of easier morphs at the time, but because it was still starting out, they didn't have what they had now in morphs. So with all that, I had something like 75 pairs of rat snakes and corn snakes, a couple of Taiwan beauties, some leucistic rats, snow corns, stuff like that. And I bred a lot of them together. And for, I want to say, about a good 10 years, that's what I did, until I literally lost everything and became homeless. And even with that, I kept one snake at a friend's house. But for 2 years, I was homeless. And next thing you know, I met a girl who is no longer with us. She had passed on, but she wanted to work with dolphins. So we had tried putting together and ended up moving to Vermont. And even in Vermont, I had a black rat bred to a Everglades rat. And that was my pairings, and that's back when I had started getting into leopard geckos. I'd always had some kind of gecko, but I had truly found my love for geckos then. I think I was one of the first, I'm not saying it was, but back then I had a really, really dark normal, like before, it wasn't even black nights weren't even thought of, but I'm not saying it was, it could have been, but it was almost black, and I ended up selling it, and getting into some high quality leopard geckos from there. So now we hit the past, I want to say, 10 years or so. We've bred and raised crested geckos, leopard geckos, panther geckos, and on and off have bred different geckos. It's only since last year, 2023, that I've started collecting all the geckos that I have. All the New Caledonian species, all the micro gecko species. I have, at the moment, 9 species of gecko, soon to be 12 species of gecko. I am getting fat tails and marbled geckos in the near future. So that is how I've started at the age of 5 and worked my way until I'm 40 as of March 8th. And my experience of reptiles and how I became I've got a shed, and only in the last year I have met the right people. A cool family. The reptile family is amazing. I've met my wife, who I truly love, and I mean, she's into reptiles too. So it makes everything. I mean, you don't see her on the videos, but she does a lot of behind the scenes videoing and filming and taking care of the animals and everything. I met Steve from Area. I can honestly go on and on about all the stuff that I've done, and worked through the reptiles and taken care of reptiles, but you don't want to hear me go on. So over the near future, for the next 20 or 40 years that I'm alive, I would like to be able to, because I get more geckos. I idolize Wally from Supreme Gecko. The way I've had him on an interview one time on my Instagram. He has like 50 something species of geckos. I would like to get to that one day and be able to take care of all my animals. So if you like this type of content, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the notification bell while you're down there. Hit the like button if you loved to learn how I have 40 years of experience with reptiles and bred close to 20 of them years, I would say. Leave a comment what your favorite part of the video was. I know a lot of it was talking, but maybe you can tell me what your favorite gecko is or your favorite reptile down there. That would probably be more better. And go over to all my social media. That should be down in the description. I even have Cold-Blooded now, some new Morph Market social media. So if you want to talk geckos or get to know me a little bit further than that, go ahead. I'll always engage in a conversation with anybody. Thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your week.